Okay, let's talk about someone underrated. HUA LING is a damage specialist with one-shot ability and can go invisible with a slight speed increase, so escape fire or use it as a sneaky means to flank. She is a sniper but also excels in mid to close quarters range, as she has no actual scope to fully max out her range, so she can play in similar ranges as Scatty or Hunter and surprisingly even Diggy. She is pretty easy to play, depending on your skill ceiling of course. She and Ursus are always compared to each other, but aren't as similar as people say. Their playstyles are completely different. Their weapons for starters do the same thing but work very differently. With a similar trajectory, HUA LING's differs in the sense that her arrows have a bit of travel time and no damage fall off, depending on how much you charge your bow, but have a slight lob to them. She also has unlimited ammo, so she can rapidly spam her shots, whereas Ursus can't do these things. Ursus has a stricter margin on all these things, so if you're struggling with maining a sniper, pick HUA LING. Her petite frame makes for a small hitbox and thus is some of the greatest wall peeking in the game. She also leans her head back so she can also outplay being shot in the head whilst doing the opposite. Her pros are, as aforementioned, her gun is pretty easy and packs quite a punch. 2 shots to the body, they dead. They deal 3k damage each. 1 headshot and they're looking at the respawn countdown, and 2 headshots will kill all tanks too, even with the neon shield. First ability deals 1400 damage and slows you down drastically. This allows you to prime your shots and hits your target easier, and it's pretty much a guaranteed win in most situations so long as you hit your headshots. Her ult is pretty good as it evades all damage by leaping into the sky, gets a pretty tanky shield, and fires 3 shots with the fattest AoE that deal 2800 per shot. It's easy to beam her down whilst in this animation, but her shots fire pretty quickly, so it's all about timing. It loads up pretty quickly too, so even if you're not getting immediate kills, you're still doing great damage and you're allowing your teammates to clean up the enemies with little effort on their part. Her passive ability scans a radius around her that shows enemies and allows you to have superior positioning and precognition. It also happens every 2 to 3 seconds. I really don't know what's in the game. There's like mods and hacks that give this to all heroes, but she actually has it in game. Her cons are, her second ability isn't necessarily bad and it allows you to disengage and jump back into the fight after 4 seconds. Thing is, your footsteps become so loud, engaging in close combat after using this ability becomes a bit of a cop-out as you just easily snuffed out, especially considering that you're most likely using this after taking some damage. This really adds to the pressure of making sure you kill whoever you're trying to flank. Now this might sound purely situational, and it is, but using this ability seems to have more withdrawals than benefits, but obviously I could be very wrong. I've also seen it amongst a lot of HUA LING mains and pros fall victim to this time and time again, so bear it in mind, I don't know. Her positioning isn't consistent enough to where you can freely operate, and using her abilities force you to change where you're at, so that is something to consider. For example, if you're playing at high ground, can't be there for too long before you get countered. Same with playing her behind a wall or close to the objective. You just constantly have to navigate, which can be difficult if you can't quickly adjust to the game. This game is more about positioning than skill, if being honest, so the best players suck without their awareness of the map. HUA LING requires that you be good at both, more so than most heroes, I would say. Hitting targets that have fast mobility is a problem for most snipers in any sort of shooter game, and T3 is no exception. So your Marks, Glorias, Hunters, Aletas, or whoever is going to pose a problem, and in this regard, that's when you really need to actually put in the practice time to make sure you hit your shots with HUA LING. HUA LING's balancing has posed the devs a bit of a challenge, making her very fragile. I feel like she's either overly tuned or has too many nerfs, so she's either really good or really bad. Likening her to a normal situation, if you're dating a stripper, you shouldn't get attached. But I must say, I think they really nailed it this time. All in all, HUA LING is a top tier hero that sits very comfortably above most DPS options. She can easily carry the team as she prevails in most of her 1v1 situations, although this is obviously dependent on the player. Great damage, one shots, long mid short range, easy to pick up and play, medium difficulty to master, peel off, great ults for crowd control, sucks mostly because you do. So there's really not too much to fault about HUA LING. Her second active ability though, it's kind of a glass cannon. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing and check out my other videos. It'd be greatly appreciated. I'll drop a link somewhere here so you can check out a video of another hero that I've analyzed in depth and made short and sweet for you. With that said, bye everybody.